I read something that was really shocking last week. It's actually quite interesting. This girl got pregnant after she had been using an IUD. It's the what's the IUD for? Uterine device, right?
Yeah.
Is it intra or it's
intra? Yeah.
Okay, we'll cut that out. So this girl got pregnant, but she had been using an IUD, that intrauterine device, contraceptive. She had been on it for 3 years and it was working. But now she was pregnant, and when she went to the doctors to check, they couldn't find the IUD. So obviously, like reading through this story, I just kept thinking, did this baby swallow the IUD?
And what had been happening for 3 years?
And they were actually thinking of surgery or whatever, just to find where is it? Is it inside like fallopian tubes? Where did it go? It was a crazy story. It also got me thinking, and what led me to this story was, well, recently I've just been trying to find out and like inform myself a lot about sexual and reproductive health. Don't look at me like that. Yeah, but it's because we are very ignorant. Like as a young woman, it's not like I'm planning a family or that I'm trying to prevent over not having a child too soon after the other. No, but like the knowledge is important. Yeah, but that was really
it was really funny. And I also have a similar story. And for me, the story just goes to show how both us in the city and the guys in the village are even worse. So this lady in the village, she's with her husband, and they talk about family planning. At least guys have bought on that family planning is very important. So now they're having an outreach. Sexual reproductive health organizations having an outreach. So they go to their village, and she wants an IUD to be inserted. Yeah, in her. Yeah. So she gets that procedure done by this outreach organization. This organization. And after some time, she starts smelling. She starts bleeding, she's smelling. In a long story short, she's rotting. And
it had been inserted wrong.
It had been inserted wrongly, so they had to operate her, remove her uterus and this device. And just like that, she's lost her uterus. Her husband is going to get another wife to give him children. Yeah, because now this one, things have. And so it's just like you're caught between a rock and a hard place. As much as we are shy about talking about this,
the topic is not very comfortable. But
and then you have such stories, and you're just like, you know what? Maybe we should leave this thing up to the blood.
I've always thought IUDs are very intrusive. Like they are so.
So what options do we have in here?
Maybe I really think we need to first of all think about how much do people know about.
How much do we know?
Do we know about these things? I, for one, I think earlier on, I almost confused an implant and an IUD. Where does one go and how does it work? And how it really affects women. And also looking at the different classes of women. The women in the urban areas, and then the women in the rural areas.
And at different stages of life.
Yes.
Did you think that the IUD goes into your hand?
I'm not going to embarrass myself like this. Good thing that I've learned. So maybe we just need to have an honest conversation about if I consider myself an elite. I've gone to school, I studied these things.
You're a land friend.
I go to clinics every day, but are we taking our sexual and reproductive health seriously? Do we know the extent to which it goes? Because usually when you talk about sexual and reproductive health, honestly, at first, even when I was younger, condoms, abstinence, and
abstinence is very effective, I can tell you.
And it's ABC.
I can tell you.
Was ABC, yes, be faithful, use condoms. But then I've been reading a lot of stories where you find that maybe one of the partners is faithful and the other is not, so there's contraction of HIV. So we need to interrogate the extent of these rights and the fact that they're very gendered, since they really affect most of the women. I recently read online there was a male pill to help with. And apparently it's not a new thing. Apparently it was there before, but it used to give mood swings. And it was not, I think, picked up by a lot of men. So this conversation is mostly important to me, because at the center of it all are women. You see, it's the woman getting the implant, getting the IUD, she's not getting the side effects of the weight. Sehud, an NGO that does a lot of reproductive health work. released a report in 2016 that was very elaborate about how women in rural areas have refused to take on family planning because the more children you get, who are usually boys, the more your man will stay with you and will not leave you, but and then you'll not be embarrassed. Free labor. But also, you know, free labor for the home. Yes. So I need us to, I don't know how many, I know there's IUD, there's an implant, IUD.
As a non-practicing Catholic, I know that there's also the natural one.
Which one is that? The days.
It's safe. Currently it's effective.
Moonbeam.
I cannot save my life if I was told to be given 100 mil to explain the safe days business. I think I'll die poor. I cannot explain it even for myself. You see, now how am I supposed to explain it to another person? So it's not something I'd encourage. But if as a woman you understand your body, Nvannungi perhaps can help us with that. But I know condoms do really help.
What do you? I can explain.
I'm currently not sexually
because
active,
this is the most. I know it's the most safe way. Yeah, and it's
so safe days work for you.
It's safe. Abstinence is very safe. But you guys, so when you get a partner,
Yvonne?
Yes, I am. Okay. So when you get a partner and you want to have children, what happens then?
When you're abstaining,
do you want to have? No, are you going to abstain forever? You want to have?
Of course
kids.
not.
So what are you going to use? Are you going to give birth every year?
Then there's coitus interruptus.
I'm really loving Nvannungi's
like days, you guys.
No, withdrawal method is also it's been very effective for many people who I know. I'm not naming any names. I'm not going to name any names. I'm not pointing fingers, but it's been effective.
Has been effective for you.
Yeah, of course.
But also, maybe another thing that we do a lot in our society is when we talk about sexual and reproductive issues, we want to. I grew up knowing sex is a really evil thing. Abstinence, be faithful, get married and then have sex there, yeah? But we forget that there are lots of 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds lately having sex.
Oh my, that conversation.
So, if we cannot stop it from happening, how are we going to protect these children? What are some of those measures that we can put in place? Because a parent is not going to walk around with this child as they go for coaching. This child will go for coaching and then leave an hour before to go and have sex with her boyfriend or her partner or whatever, whoever she's having sex with. So what is it? What information are we providing for our children to understand that it's going to happen? It scares me so much that one of these days I'm going to have a child and you cannot walk around to make sure that they're having safe sex or that they're having sex. They are choosing, because I think at the center of reproductive health is the right to have the privilege to choose to say I'm going to have kids or I want to have this kind of sex and that I can go to a doctor and ask why my blood flow is heavy this month or why my period delayed or why my friend gets cramps and I do not. Someone was telling me they never get cramps during periods. And I envied them and I asked, didn't you go to ask why? Because you know when someone explains the process that happens before you bleed,
the clotting,
I feel like yes, the cramps should be there. So if they're not happening, am I okay? I'm excited mostly because at least we can talk about how this issue affects women, but also because when we choose to have intercourse with our partners, how it affects them and how it affects us. A men being supportive of their wives.
But right now there's
with the different decisions they take, the different methods that they use. But
what methods are men using?
You had earlier mentioned talked about vaxotomy,
vasectomy. For men.
And then
cut the sperm ducts.
And then for the ladies, tube ligation.
You tie up bits of the fallopian tube.
Then you said something about the diaphragm.
The diaphragm.
I do not know.
Yeah, that one we should learn.
Yeah, I should.
I also don't know how diaphragms work, but it's like a little cup like
then there's the pills.
The pills, And
then there's a very controversial one.
The pills interrupt your cycle.
But they work. Morning after pills.
And then the pill plan, That's when we grew up knowing about it.
At a clinic with a flower, a green flower, you'd get pill.
Yellow.
So maybe we should. It's a yellow flower, right? Yeah, the adverts were on every radio station. So maybe we could invite someone who understands these things better than we do.
Yeah.
To just maybe take us through what different methods that women can use, but also what are some of the challenges with using these things.
Yeah.
Because they affect women's
the effects we get on our bodies.
Yeah, then their partners, are they really being supportive? How can a partner be supportive through this system?
Yeah.
And the different methods that the women use, how do they choose them? Yeah. Are they aware that maybe some work for certain kinds of women and others don't?
And why are people controlling birth?
Yeah, why are they? Yes, the important question.
No, and also the question.
When we need children for this country.
We already have many. So anyway, another question also is the religious issue.
Yeah.
Because we've defined contraception as
which is
preventing conception.
Yeah.
So the religious issue and how to navigate that. Yeah, and also our cultural issue, because you realize that it's very hard to talk about these things. I know so many people who are not talking about it.
Yeah, you only start talking about contraception in marriage counseling.
At least our president mentioned it in his speech, that in Africa the problem is not that we are overpopulated. In fact, we are underpopulated. That's why when NRM government came, we said Bonabazare. We are here at Olive's Restaurant and Bar in Naguru, opposite the surgery, which is our new home. Come through, visit this beautiful place for great pizza and really nice whiskey.
Hi, Helen. Hi, we have been duly informed that you are the all-knowing sexual reproductive health person. Yeah. There's so many questions we'd like to know. Number one, will I grow fat if I take the pill?
So I get now we're talking about contraception.
Yes.
And SRHR, sexual reproductive health. So you may get fat or you may not get fat. So family planning or contraceptives are an interesting thing. You'll find them interesting when you get to know them. People react to them very differently. That's why they have side effects. The best example that I usually use with contraceptives, clothes. You could wear a linen cloth and it itches you. And I wear it, it doesn't itch me. That doesn't make the linen to have a problem. It's just that your skin reacts to it differently. Yeah, so that's how family planning works.
Okay.
That's why there are very many alternatives. So that if your body does not work with linen, you can wear cotton.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. So if these pills make you fat, you change because they work on hormones. They work on man-made hormones.
Okay.
Technical terms, but there is estrogen and prostogen. So if they find that they're making you fat, maybe you're using a combined pill or the contraception you're using has the two hormones, then you can use one without one of the hormones. So someone will say maybe it is usually the estrogen that is making you fat. Then you use what they call the POP or prostogen only pill. Then that will not make you fat.
So what other options if I do not want to be bothered by taking the pill every day?
Because I think you can even forget.
Yes.
And especially because it's only the woman taking these pills. It's not like I'll say tomorrow, please.
It's your turn.
Mr. Man, please take this week and I'll take next week.
Mr. Man is actually supposed to remind you because it's a two thing. It's a two-way process. But then that's an ideal one.
It is.
Yeah, but aside those pills, what?
There are many pills that you could use or many contraceptions that you could use. But for young people, we usually do not, encourage the pills that much if a young person is sexually active. And then you ask them how particular are they, how careful are they? Because there is a pill, for example, it is a combined pill. Many people will call it COC, combined oral contraception, that is called microgynon. Now, microgynon or any other pills like Pill Plan, microgynon, and many others, there are really so many you can't list and finish them. But in Uganda, mostly there is Pill Plan for the old people. They are really so used to that. And then microgynon for the young people. Now, those pills have to be taken at the exact time. If you've been taking them at 2 p.m., you have to keep taking at 2 p.m. You have to be a disciple, and it's very hard to make a young person a slave of time. I had blacked out, or I was far away. I was in another country, forgot
so
my
capitalism is killing us, so you may not even remember when in a meeting or
yes, or maybe you're in a movement. So there are other things that you could use. So that was one, or pills under short term. Under short term, there are also injectables. Yeah.
Injectable.
Yes.
Injectable, right?
Yes.
How could I have forgotten that one?
Those are short term. We encourage that young people use family planning, short term family planning, because you could meet Prince Charming tomorrow, and then you're like, okay, now I want to get married. This is my right person. I want to produce now. So we encourage short term. So if you cannot use a pill, then you could use an injectable that is 3 months. Yeah, every after 3 months. There is one that they call Depo-Provera. They usually say Depo. Now Depo is in every government hospital, health center 2, health center 3, health center 4. It is the most common, and then they mix the two. Usually you see the medical person getting a small tube.
Where's the injection put? Here?
Yes, here.
What do you think? Okay.
There are some people who request to be injected on the thigh. So you see them mixing, pulling from one bottle and then the other, they're mixing the two hormones. Yeah? That is Depo-Provera for 3 months. It is commonly used, really commonly used. And then there is another called Cyanopress, which is very interesting. It is small, in like a small tube. The tube already has a needle on it, so they're just going to inject you. You could do it at home. It is the simplest. We encourage it because it is simple to use it by yourself, and also you do not have to be saying, oh my God, I have to take the pill, I have to take the pill, I've forgotten how to take the pill, I took it 1 hour after. So Cyanopress could be very good. And then of course, injector plan. Yeah? Usually that many married women have adapted to that. So the young people have these myths, or like, oh my God, but that's for old people, but that's for married people. So it's very hard to sell it because the direction in which they advertised it went to married people. But you could also use it if you're not lazy about it.
It's also, it goes 3 months?
Yes, it goes 3 months.
Are there also short-term methods for the men, or it's just just for the ladies?
There is a pill that you've heard about that is not yet operationalized for the world. First of all, there has to be a lot of awareness around it. There has to be a lot of branding, selling. So it is not yet rolling.
I really hope it does.
There is condom use. There is a male condom that is it's used so much. People find it easy. People usually say, oh, but I used a condom and I got pregnant. Because people take it for granted, like, man, it's a condom, go buy and use. And yet it also has its small rules. Is it kept under a certain temperature? Is it away from the sun? Does it have pressure when you press on the condom?
This is for the men who walk around with, what are they called, condoms in their wallets?
In their wallets.
The whole day you're sweating, the thing is here.
It is discouraged because it is hit by the sun, or sometimes it is pricked, so the air is out. Or someone has not checked the expiry date. So encourage the ladies, if he's going to wear a condom, please get it and first press it, basics. Press it, feel if there is pressure, check the expiry date, then give it to him, or ask him, where have you been keeping it?
That time is quite
intense. So before that time, do that. Before you go all hayways for each other, first find out.
Then maybe even ladies could just buy their own condoms.
Yes,
because I know ladies are more careful, so the way they store them is easy, so that you have your pleasurable sex without worrying about because I'm sure I bought the condoms.
The ladies could also use the femidom or the female condom.
So we had also earlier talked about implants. I think those are because every radio station usually has, so those we are usually more aware, the implants and the IUD, and Yvonne had earlier shared about if it's not really perfectly put, it can bring problems. Are there any long-term contraceptive methods, and what has been the response from young people?
Interestingly, the implants are the long term.
They are, right?
Yeah, they are the long term. So implants are many types. There is one they call the Norplant.
Yes, heard about that.
That goes for 5 to 7 years. Usually it's for the married. The idea is they want to give themselves 5 years. I have produced my firstborn, but I need to go to school and finish my master's or my PhD, so I need the 5 years.
I just don't want any more children.
Or I do not want any more children, but that, if you say I don't want any more children, that is then permanent. That is not long term. And the other long term is the Implanon. It goes for 3 to 5 years. They also inject it. It's an implant. Yeah, those are the ones that I could remember right now. But the really
Tube
big
ligation.
now tube ligation and vasectomy are permanent. Yeah, because they cut the fallopian tubes of the woman, so the egg can't go through to the to the uterus.
What's been the
for the man?
For
the man, it is vasectomy. They also cut the urethra, that tube that takes the sperm. Yeah, so the
Are there young people, many young people, what do the statistics look like? The young people have been using the permanent.
No, young people don't use permanent. You would be crazy, because that means you will not produce. But they use long
people who don't want to actually give birth. But
yes, but
want to.
The thing about being young, it goes with uncertainty. Your decision could change in a minute. If you're young and wise, you would know that no decision is permanent. What you like tomorrow, you might not like. But with that said, they use long term. We have young people that are using the Implanon, the 3 years. So it's like, man, even in my secondary life, I've been sexually active. And I'm going to university and I'm going to be really, really sexually active like you guys. This is the fact. So that one will use the Implanon. Like, I might have to use it for 3 years after uni, then I'll be good to go.
Helen, I'd like to know, I've been using long term. What happens when I want to get off it? Because there's so much negative information around contraceptives. They tell us we're going to give birth to deformed children, our children are going to be silly. When you want to now have the children, you fail to give birth, and they talk that infertility is going high, and we are wondering, is it what we eat or these contraceptives? So it's things like that. Like, personally, I would think I would want to use safe days, because I'm not like
interrupting with your system.
Yeah, I'm not introducing anything external into my body, because we've had these stories so much. So I don't know, is that true?
No fault. It's family planning plays with hormones, like I had said, with the man-made hormones. There are some that do not play with hormones, like the IUD. The IUD actually doesn't play; it just blocks. Yes, because they insert it, it blocks the cervix, where the egg is supposed to, the sperm is supposed to go. But it doesn't have any hormonal issues. That's why you cannot grow fat, grow small, get nauseated, no. Because the copper or the coil is put, and that's it. But the safe days. Safe days are interesting. Or what they use the moon beads to know. I would sit here the whole day and start explaining. Usually the discussion is, oh, that's it, please repeat it again, and I understand it. It brings confusion. But the most important part to know is that not everyone can use moon beads. It's not everyone that has safe days. You must have a regular cycle for you to use safe days. If you do not have, for example, me, I can't use safe days. My cycle changes, and that is because of the weather. If I move into another country with a different time zone, I can reset my period. If I eat G-nuts, I can reset my period. If I've just finished my period and I take G-nuts, because they're so oily, and it's for very many women. If you're a woman, you'd know that after your period, steer clear from G-nuts. Or if you're still in your period, because they will increase your blood flow, or they will reset your period.
Okay. But they address my question about all these myths that we keep hearing, because
does it cause infertility?
No. And when after having like a long-term method I've been using, when I stop, how quick will I have children?
Yes, how quick will you have children? First of all, family planning is not a one-shoe-fits-all. The how long it will take you might not be the how long it will take me, because of your hormones and my hormones, your DNA, your everything is different. So it might take a different time for all of us. But if it is the IUD and they remove it, ideally give it a month or two and your system resets. If you've been using the implant and they remove it, some people will conceive the next month. Some it will take them 2 months. Either way, because of how they're eating, the health issues. Do you have any other sickness? Did you could have HIV, and maybe you're on ARVs, and your body system is a bit so slow. So that will depend on a person. But does it cause infertility? Absolutely no. That's why they say if you're already pregnant, it won't do anything. That there are the same chances you have of producing a normal child, whether you've used contraceptives or not. If the kid comes out abnormal, then that kid was going to come out abnormal. It is true what they say, that children come from God. It is true. Not even family planning can change that. It stops before you have the child. So there is no way it can cause infertility. How does it really work? Maybe when we understand how it really works, then you will say that there's no way it can cause infertility. When you take the pills, or when you take the implant, or whatever you're using, there are 3 ways it is going to stop. One way is it will stop the egg from coming to uterus. The egg will stay up, it will still be in your ovaries. That is one way. The second way will be that it will thicken the cervical mucus. The cervical mucus is where the sperm moves. It's the liquid that helps the sperm to go to your uterus. So it thickens it and the sperm can't move. So you cannot produce. The other last way is it thins the endometrium or your uterine wall. It thins it so much that the egg can't touch on it. You know, your egg is supposed to hold on. So now the egg can't hold. Like that. So you cannot get pregnant. So how can a thing like that make it? Yeah, so it cannot cause infertility. The myths come because of the way we use them. The greatest challenge that we're having, especially with the young women out there, is they do not know how it is going to be used. So I come and I tell you, oh, by the way, Yvonne, I used an IUD and this can happen. Stuck here, it got lost. But I'm actually not telling you the truth. They just explained to me and I did not get the basics.
So what about access to these services? Earlier on I shared a story where it was improperly, the IUD was improperly inserted. So who is licensed to insert these things? Who should I trust? Who should I try? Who should we tell, like our relatives maybe in the villages, that this one can do it very well and this one cannot? Where can I get advice from? That just in general, like where do we get access to correct information from?
Information on family planning is in very many forms, and right now for the young person, for example in town, you have access to referrals that are online. For example, there is a website that Patricia uses. It's called Sauti Class. www.sautiplus.org. It has referral centers. So the moment it actually has a page where they ask you which district are you, which sub-county are you, which particular village are you, because there will be a spot that you can go to for contraception and correct information. It could be by PSI. There are very many partners, Maristops, Reproductive Health Uganda, yes, there are really so many. So online, now that I cannot get them in my head because there are really, really so many, but for every particular place, if you go to that website, you find a hospital in every place, wherever you are.
I feel like what this means is that we have to also be very deliberate about wanting to learn these things, because you know, by the time I log on to www to get this information, but also maybe for us to start thinking about ways of getting this information to people closer. I know there are lots of civil society, especially, and also the government has been doing a lot of work on the Ministry of Health in our different, especially the rural areas, in the different universities. I remember at campus they used to do it a lot. I have concerns about the cultural, the social, and you know, the religious, you know, situations surrounding usage of contraceptives. How have you been dealing with that? Because I know that a lot of us have that as the major hindrance to accessing this service. A lot of women will tell you, I'm a Catholic, so I will not let my partner, or I cannot use a condom because I'll be killing a human being. What has that had?
Even the attitude towards sex and talking about our sex lives and having to go and expose yourself and being really rather conservative and rather shy about talking about these things.
Sex is sacred. I cannot tell the other person about what's happening to my husband. I cannot tell my husband that he can't do this because on this day it's not safe. So have you been dealing with that, and what has been its effect on just getting this information to the people that need it?
Okay. For the young people, we advocate for young people's spaces, that for every health center there should be a youth corner, because it's a bold move to go and tell a health worker that, you know what, man, I need an implant or I need microgynon. Like, oh, that means you're sexually active, why are you not abstaining? So we're advocating for safe spaces for young people. what we call youth corners, and then the health workers that work there are trained in youth-friendly health services, so they know how to deal with young people when it comes to family planning. For the marrieds, in even government hospitals, they are encouraging that the couple comes together to break the myths, because usually you preach to the woman, but the man doesn't get the gospel, and so the man will reach home and beat the woman. So they encourage that the couples come together and then they talk to them. There are many interventions that are happening. Yvonne talked of an outreach. There are very many outreaches that are happening where we find people in their spaces. We are pushing information on social media. We are pushing information on mainstream media, that is radio and TVs, talking about contraception and how young people can, skip getting pregnant, because it is the highest cause of school dropout is teenage pregnancies, unwanted pregnancies. So how can they stop that? If you're a Christian woman and your values are, I cannot kill a child, then take heart in knowing that contraception does not kill a child. It stops a child to be made. So it doesn't kill a child. It is double standards to say that, okay, then you get a child and then you abort the child. And you even abort the child in an unsafe way, because in Uganda it has a lot of contradictions here and there. So how about you stop getting that child that you're going to abort? If you're saying that, man, I'm also Christian and the Bible is saying I cannot use family planning at all, can you afford? Can you afford to abstain? Because abstaining also is a proper way, 100% sure that you will not get pregnant. So if you can abstain, if you have the zeal and the determination, go ahead and do it.
Called it zeal.
Yes. Go ahead and do it. If you do not have it, then use contraception, because my friend, you're going to end up doing things that you wouldn't have done. Or if you think you can afford 20 kids, peace and love. Because that means you cannot even use withdrawal method or coitus interruptus, because the Bible has showed us men that were punished because they spilled their semen, the sperm. So we also have to be objective. The issue of contraception.
What about going into secondary schools? I think the national sex education promotes abstinence. However, we know that many young adolescents are engaging in sex right now. And you're also saying that teenage dropout is really high. So have you ventured into schools?
So venturing into schools in Uganda right now is hard. We do not have a policy that allows us. We're using PSC, and when you go there, you only preach abstinence. Recently, the sexuality education framework has been launched that at least shows guidelines. So there is, there is hope that we can go in schools and, to preach this good gospel, But there is still the school health policy that has been shelved. That's a big discussion that is going on. So unless the government puts in a way, policies, a structure that allows you to go in school, then you cannot go, else you're going to be arrested when you're in schools. But also the hope is every person in school is also out of school at some time in holidays. So we have to target them in the holidays and organize events where we can attract them. It could be a concert. We are doing concerts, we are doing shows, things that will attract a young person.
It's quite absurd.
It's quite absurd.
That we still assume that children in secondary school are actually not engaging in sex, and it
when
makes
we
it
know
very difficult.
that the sex debut is at 14 to 15.